Welcome to TradeTheNBA.com. This is John's reports for the 19th of February. Well, we got the weakness we were looking for. We actually broke a little bit below the ABM yellow and made it all the way to the 76%, which was quite a move. And of course, they bought it up at the end of the day, but there was still significant enough selling from that. Just the short-term buyers fading. Really hadn't had any activity, and that it's just a result of after you get that initial push from new fund money coming in, but there really haven't been a dramatic amount of shorts jumping into the setup. Though, you have weaker unemployment and things like that, it suggests that, there may have to be more stimulus, which is what the market is constantly looking for. Fresh new resources, and as long as the yield curve for bonds and that is so low, you have no other alternative but to be in the market, so to speak. From an NQ standpoint, it was identical, but of course you can see already today that short-term buyers are ticking back up. That's what's propelled us early on right here with the early stages of the pre-market. And from gold standpoint, again, without any prospect for inflation rising, at least in a significant way, it's suffering, and of course that's all related to the rise in gold. Bitcoin now 53, so it's done exactly what the algos suggest. I mean, we get positive extremes, comes back, fills them, and then starts a new cycle. It's nothing new. But while I had that one on there, we might as well go visit this one because we talked about it, and I told you it was coming. And now below 40, I think the next levels that we had from a retrace standpoint are low 30s, and I think it goes all the way down to 19 range. So, but again, I pointed out because it doesn't matter. As long as there's algo activity, you're going to see it from our readings, and it's just the way it is. Let's keep on moving. Let's go straight to the 5K. Not that long a day when you think about it, because from right over here, we ended up with the short early on, and it just filled us all back into, and I erased a bunch of all those other previous ones, and mostly because my computer, TradeStation decided to do an update late in the afternoon, middle of market, and on my machine, I've since changed the parameters for that. It was kind of annoying because it just sort of shut everything down, had to reboot. But we ended up with a slow build that just came after the decline. We ended up with this early yellow candle, which is not horrible, but the problem was with the zero steel reset, what you look for, though, is this dip of the steel back to the zero and then back up again, and then as soon as the orange comes down. And you expect that one to have a little bit more oomph to it. In this case, it had like barely any oomph to it, and once you ended up with the first cross, which was right about here, you kind of knew that it was over, particularly since green hadn't even passed above, and so at this point it should have been all rising and improving, and it wasn't. And finally also it had the gold plateau at that stage, and that led to a new low, which gave rise to a P2 with the dip. Again, still no steel reset within this, so you could still argue that it was still going to be generally weak, which is what I would be viewing it as. And it still produced a decent run, but again, the run filled back in cleanly, and then this one was much easier because he obviously had the steel. Coming from below, pops back up, comes back, dips down. There's the orange place right about here, just before. That was the marker right there. I did have it marked before it reset everything. And then it just kind of took off, plateaued, and then shot up towards the end of the day. And then once we had that, what did we get? We had, that's right, positive extremes. Just a whole slew of them, all beginning at these various key points. The first being right here, which was the initial breakout at 38.91, and then the second set starting right up there at 39 even. I think that's where this one should be, just a little higher. Normally what I'll do is I just go into snap mode right there, and it just takes you exactly key though is you got to remember to take off snap mode so that when you're doing other drawing tools, it doesn't get in the way. And then the final stage of positive extremes began up right here at 09 range, and that filled back to first and then went all the way back down, and then we started a whole new run. We've already had a couple of positive extremes within this run. Right about here, and also right there for the low of 39.15, which they've already been filled, so it goes pretty quick when that happens, and that's actually positive from a long standpoint. You can see gold rising now, so this probably still has a little bit more left in it before that DOC spread setup can really take effect, so I would see maybe just a little down action before it pops back up again, and then after that, probably a little bit more interesting from a trade standpoint. But I think when you just look at what we're seeing from the volatility standpoint, though, got to be pleased, to go from 35s all the way to 81s. I mean, this is 50-point swings in a day, and doing it in multiple clean waves, which makes it much easier to follow. As always, though, I will definitely update anything on Skype chat, and now that I'm at least back up and going, it'll be much easier to do. So I look forward to that, and I know we had some questions on Skype chat about other future show me studies and things like that, and I will definitely be talking about that maybe later here for the weekend and also on Skype chat, so look for that. As always, trade well. We'll talk to you later.